I want to start off by officially welcoming everybody today. My name is Jose Ortega. I'm the Director of Marketing and Recruitment here at Washington University of Science and Technology. We are delighted to have you here today for today's event, AI Meets the Green Economy. Today we have a wonderful list of panelists here to share their knowledge with you. But again, we want to thank all our staff, students, visitors, and WUST family online who's streaming, because we are going live from our WUST social media. So without further ado, I want to welcome our campus president, Dr. Hassan Kerber, to officially welcome you and to address everybody here today for today's event. So let's give a round of applause for our campus president, Dr. Hassan Kerber.
Make sure this is working. This is
It's on.
okay. Good. This is a technology university, so bear with us. Our technology occasionally may not work. That's normal. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an honor, privilege to say welcome to this green money. I don't know why they call it green economy. Just I don't know. It's that economy. I don't know. So nothing makes more sense, honestly, organizing this AI-related event because it's a technology university, and also we have School of Director of School of Information Technology. This is director here. And then, of course, we have Dr. Why you're sitting in the back. I thought you were one of those panelists that I tried to ask you a question about this green economy. Not a man. What did he say? Not a panelist. Oh, he's not. Okay, not a panelist. Okay, well, we'll fix this later. I wish I did. Okay, I see we have some students, but people coming. Are they? Oh, miss. Okay, so I'm assuming you're money rather than AI, I guess. Well, also distinguished panelists, Dr. Lilian, and then we have Dr. Liz, and then Dr. Dara. Okay, thank you for joining us as a panelist. I think it's a very tough job to convince people about green money with AI. AI piece is difficult with it. I'm also learning AI. This whole AI era, it's giving me little dizziness because I'm really worried that now that even the suit that we eat, I'm worried that there will be some AI suit, doctor, right? This whole AI thing is really giving me some serious headache. Especially my students, we learn some AI tool. Honestly, this helps. I'm also practicing, beyond ChatGPT. There's this issue called Canvas. No, Canva. Yeah, I'm learning Canva. How do you say this Canva thingy? Yeah. So at least, listen, I'm serious. This is like driver license. In this age, we have to all learn how to drive a car. At least learn one tool. Two, maybe you'll get lost with two. At least learn one tool and learn how to use it. This is going to really help, make you a little bit efficient in this and what you do. And it will give you confidence. Because once you get your hands dirty with something, and then that something is going to empower you to do something else. So it will create a good chain reaction. It's very helpful in this age. The university has, let me do a little bit publicity, Jose, because I ran out of ammunition. I don't know what to say. This is AI is beyond my opinion. So university has 3 schools, School of Health Sciences. That's a new baby. So if anyone is interested, I think Dr. John can provide some extra, little bit, profile on that. And then we have School of IT, and then we go to the School of Business. School of Business, Dr. Robertson is behind as the director of School of Business. And then we have Dr. Tawhid is one of our panelists, the School of IT. And then it's okay size school. Some of you may not have heard about university. We've got about close to 2,000 students, with over 100 faculty members, and close to 60 whatever full-time staff that they come into every day. And majority of our staff are the breadwinners of the family. So it's a good size of operation. And then the success goes back to the entire staff. So together, do something really remarkable. So I hope that, thank you. And also thank you for the event organizers. Priya, I know you're everywhere but nowhere. Like you, like me. She's like was studying chemistry, there's this concept called Eisenberg-Oxford principle. So by the time you detect her, you displace. That's how she is, right? So by the time you send an electron to detect where she is, then you cause her to displace her location. So she's so much. Thank you for doing it. Thank you, panelists. I hope you will have a wonderful panel about this green money or green economy. Right? I hope we'll learn something about this, how AI, this data side, the data centers produce this fake green money. I guess that's what we're going to learn today. Huh?
Supporting the climate.
That's so we will. That's what green economy is.
Yes.
So using AI.
Yeah, you're supporting the climate.
This is funny thing though. So many years ago, I saw a bumper sticker. Really, this is how it goes. Bumper sticker says, "We kill human being to show people killing is bad." You remember those? From 2 decades or 3 decades ago, there was one controversial issue. So we have these bumper stickers that says, "We kill human being to show that killing is bad." So we use AI to kill environment with all those data centers or whatever, then tell people that killing is bad. Therefore, we use AI to fix this. It's a little bit irony. Anyway, therefore I said to be on my paper. Welcome again. I'm just putting time to see my students coming behind. Students, hey, I love you all, but I will love you more if you listen to this empathically, okay? Don't try to criticize. The academic guys will probably not be done. You know, as you know, the academic guys, they always have this lance of criticism. Any word that you say, they say this is a wrong statement. Listen empathically, okay? This is an ocean. Try to swim first. And when you get to the side or ocean side, you can maybe take a trip, maybe something to home, and then you can discuss whether that's the right environment, the right information. So let's listen then. I think there's something that we can all learn. I see all the seats are taken by you. So I think you did good at the time. With that, I don't know who should I call next?
I'll take it from here.
Okay, well, thank you. I think my job is done. I'll stay here for a while, but I don't want to torture you. Welcome. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Everybody give a round of applause for Dr. Santiago. So much, Dr. Bird, for giving everybody a welcome. And so for those of you who are just joining us today, thank you for attending today's event. AI Meets the Green Economy. You're getting ready to listen to a fantastic group of panelists. And if you have any questions, please make sure you save those for the end, as we're going to have a small Q&A. But without further ado, I want to welcome Priya Katari, today's moderator of today's event, up to the stage. Priya, you want to join me? Let's give Priya a welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. When we talk about the DC Climate Week, everyone know about what is DC Climate Week? Anyone? You know. Okay. So DC Climate Week is happening here from last 2 years, 3 years now. It started with the giving the one community where every innovator, policymaker can talk about the climate. And that's why today we are celebrating under the DC Climate Week one program at One Accelerated. So I'm very happy to welcome you all, that you all are here. And why climate is important? For me, it's why my passion was doing something which can help the community. And right now, you see the difference in the climate. We see so many climate challenges right now we are facing. And as a young leader or a student, we are learning technology. This technology and the climate can go together. Is it possible? Possible?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Possible, right?
Yes.
But still, there are many people who don't think that the both hands can go together. So that's why today we thought, let's have this panel discussion, which can talk about how AI meets the green economy. When we see the circular economy, everything is coming, supporting each other. So on the basis of that, I really want you to focus on one small video, which we wanted to show. Mama, please.
We see the headlines every day. We feel the changes in the air. Our planet is sending us signals loud and clear. For too long, the story has been one of struggle. We've witnessed heartbreaking images of melting ice caps vanishing into the sea, vast forests disappearing before our eyes, and smog-filled skies choking our cities. It's a narrative that can feel overwhelming, a challenge so immense it seems insurmountable. It's easy to feel a sense of despair, to wonder if we've gone too far. But what if I told you a new chapter is being written? A story of hope, innovation, and unprecedented collaboration between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence. This isn't science fiction. This is the reality unfolding right now. AI, the very force driving our digital age, is being repurposed for a mission of global significance to help us solve Earth's biggest environmental challenges. The narrative is shifting from crisis to comeback, from problem to solution. And it's happening in ways you might never have imagined. Forget the stereotypes of robots and dystopian futures. Think of AI as a microscopic, hyper-intelligent assistant working tirelessly behind the scenes to make our world greener, cleaner, and more sustainable. It's not just about making our lives smarter. It's about making our planet survivable for generations to come. This is the story of how we're turning the tide, using the most powerful tool we've ever created to protect our only home. Let's start with the very foundation of our survival, food. Traditional agriculture, while feeding billions, has put an enormous strain on our planet's resources. It accounts for about 70% of all freshwater withdrawals globally and contributes significantly to deforestation and soil degradation. But what if we could grow more food with less? This is where AI steps in. Imagine farms where every single plant gets exactly what it needs. No more, no less. AI-powered drones and sensors are now showing over fields, collecting massive amounts of data on soil health, moisture levels, and plant vitality. This isn't just data for data's sake. Complex algorithms analyze this information in real time, identifying which specific areas of a field water or nutrients. Instead of watering the entire field, precision irrigation systems deliver water drop by drop, exactly where it's needed, cutting water waste by up to 50% in some cases. AI can even detect pests or diseases before a human eye ever could, allowing farmers to take targeted action instead of spraying entire crops with chemicals. This is smart farming. It's not just about efficiency. It's about creating a system that works in harmony with nature, ensuring we can feed a growing global population without depleting our precious resources. It's a quiet revolution, happening acre by acre, powered by data and driven by the need for a sustainable future. Now, let's talk about energy, the engine of our modern growth. Our reliance on fossil fuels has powered.
So we saw this video. So in this, we can understand that there is a lots of problem which is still there, still AI, and we are finding the solution how we can work towards the pest management, how we can work towards the pollution, how we can work towards the data centers, which we are already developing lots of centers. So in the whole this, I really want to get this topic that how AI can mix the green economy, and to start this panel discussion and really invite all our panelists. First, I would love to invite Dr. Lilin Pinta, please. Dr. Lilin Pinta is having the experience. He's a vice president of conservative science in Jain Goral Institute, USA. He also have a different experience related to high-tech innovation and community lead conservation. With over 30 years of experience, he led the integration of AI, satellite imagery, and the geospatial tools to empower the local communities as a guardian of their own landscapes. His experience with solving the last mile, and also he has written the book Local Voices and Local Choices. I think we would love to know more about that too. And thank you so much for coming in, and we would love to know more about the intervention you're doing it. Next, one of the say the speaker and the person which I am very admirable. So I want to invite Liz Elizabeth. Please come here. She is the Water Security Associate and Data Scientist of the World Resource Institute based in the DC. She contributed to the data development, modeling, and analytical workflows for adjustment in suite of tools that quantity and map water-related risks, including flooding, drought, and water stress. All related to water, she have used lots of tools. The organization using lots of technology to solve the problem. So thank you so much to be here. Next, our speaker, none other than you already might be know Dr. Tawheed. He is the assistant director and professor of School of IT, lead faculty, and a lots of innovation and the research experience. Dr. Tawheed is leading the cybersecurity expert. Also, he is including the intelligent recommendation, social network, trust management, big data analytics, e-health, and e-learning. He earned a PhD in information security from Curtin University of Technology, Australia, and focusing on the trust management of intelligent recommendation. He's built both the software engineering and computer science of engineering department of Dhaka International University in Bangladesh. His experience towards the research, AI, innovation is giving a different ecosystem building towards the student development. So I'm welcoming Dr. Tawheed, please. Next speaker, which have a tremendous experience, Ms. Dara Katz, Chief Executive Officer and Partner of Venice Digital. Dara is a change maker. She builds what's missing from concept to execution. By working at the nexus of national security, technology, and innovation, throughout her almost 30 years career, she has gravitated towards the complex global challenges that are overlooked, underserved, or just emerging, and the lead efforts to make them strategic priorities. She also part of the digital technology practice at the USAID. Might be you heard about the USAID. She will share more about her story with the USAID, how she developed a lots of intervention under that, and also she chaired the USAID Violent Issues and Intensity Steering Committee. She also supporting the field teams with the UN in Afghanistan and the Organization for Security and the Cooperation in Europe. She had a lot of big experience towards the how the reporting towards the using the data and how we can integrate itself. So thank you so much for coming in the short notice. I'm really glad. Please join us. So guys, I want your attention. Also, any questions is coming in your mind, you can ask at the question and answer round. And today we will start this discussion about how this climate week and the AI and green economy are coming together. So thank you so much, guys, to be here. I think yes, everyone is giving the attention. So we can start with the we'll have the fourth theme of this whole panel discussion. In that theme, we'll understand that what is the job opportunity in this market, what are the startup and innovation can work on it, how community can think about the innovation, and what are the actual practices you are doing. So this way, we're gonna have a panel discussion. So without taking lots of time, I wanted to ask the first question to Dr. Lillian, that with your experience and the experience from working towards the different intervention in globally, so I want to know from your side that how you are using the AI, which is developing the community, also you are giving the solution for the climate. So please.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much for having me here. It's wonderful to go to visit institutions and community members. I work with the Jane Goodall Institute. I have the honor to lead the conservation science and knowledge applications with the Jane Goodall Institute for the last 25 years. We are based in Washington, D.C. I'm in Silver Springs, so it's wonderful to be here with you on this special day. The mission of the Jane Goodall Institute is to understand and protect chimpanzees, biodiversity, and empower communities to be the stewards of their ecosystems and landscapes. We also have very inspiring youth environmental organization called Wilson Shoots, which is spreading in 75 countries. I don't know if many of you know that today, the original Earth Day, which we are celebrating today, started, a big part of that was the first image of our planet from space. That famous Earth Horizon, which was collected in the Apollo mission, really helped us to see our planet in ways, but truly connect that we're all part of this incredible ecosystem, of this incredible planet that's floating in the darkness of space, and understand how fragile the life of this planet and how dependent we are from the resources supporting our life, everything life related. So the topic is going to change. Sorry for these technical challenges. Yes, technology is not always working, but we are adapting, and continuously enabling us to use it. So that first image enabled us to not only start visualizing and mapping our ecosystems, but creating that common language and common understanding what's happening, what is the impact of human activities on the Earth, being able to document, organize this information, start using it in the way how we make decisions. So for us, artificial intelligence is just another incredible technology and tool which enable us to collect, organize, manage, share, visualize, and encourage us to work together in better ways to make better decisions in supporting not only biodiversity, but also people livelihoods, which depends so much from the healthy ecosystems. So,
Yes. So can you share about your latest intervention which you are doing and using the AI?
yes, there's so many interesting projects. I'm very excited about a recent project which we're doing with AWS and our partner, the development partner called Code. Many of you probably know that the Jane Goodall has been 65 years ago, arrived in what is now Gobi National Park in Tanzania. And she only had a set of binoculars. It was an old pair of binoculars, paper and a pen. But with only those basic tools, she was able to connect to chimpanzees, our closest living relatives. And through that, open the doors not only to better understand chimpanzees, but also better understand our own relationship to nature and the fact that chimpanzees are using tools. Chimpanzees, like humans, have emotions, they have complex family relations, they can be depressed, they can laugh, they have all sorts of ranging emotions. And during that time, she started what is now the longest ongoing chimpanzee research site in the world. For the 65 years, our team on the ground, every day, every 15 minutes, have been recording and writing down locations of chimpanzees, who is in the group, what they're feeding on. All this information is helping us to understand, again, not just chimpanzees, but better understand implications for human health, aging, warfare, the origin of human violence. Those are incredible, important questions that are benefiting the humanity. Unfortunately, these data sets have been collected on paper. So over the 65 years, we generated 500,000 pages. It takes us, we have been working very hard with an army of students and professors from multiple universities, digitizing these assets in order to be able to do science, but we have become. It would have taken us 13 years to complete this digitization process. So we're using AI to help us now automatically not only scan and extract the information, but also translate unique language, which which our local communities are using to write this data in Tanzania. It enables us to deploy bioacoustic devices, microphones in the forest, and use AI then to analyze thousands and thousands of hours of sound to detect new species. In the first 2 weeks of deploying this, thanks to AI, we found a new species of bush baby living in Gombe, which we're not aware of. We spent 65 years on the ground every day. The most famous ornithologist visited Gombe, and we missed it. And AI helped us. So there are many, many exciting applications enabling us to bring. I'll mention one more. Most of the world biodiversity is in the hands of local communities. In order for us to make a difference, how the species are protected and contribute to the ecosystem health and the support of our life on Earth, the local communities need to be properly engaged, supported, and empowered to be the stewards of their own landscapes and communities. Their lives depend directly, access to clean water, natural resources, directly depend on the health of these ecosystems. For the last 25 years, the major challenge for us has been to bring this information back to the local communities for decision making. Now, thanks to AI, a local decision maker can write in Swahili a simple prompt and ask questions about their own communities, about their own districts, and being able to generate hyper-localized information to combine them with local knowledge to make better decisions. So I'm very excited about that.
Interesting. I mean, it's quite interesting to work in the, the ground, chimpanzee and, different animals, track that. And so I think the very good use of the AI which we can do it and save lots of things for us. So with this discussion, with the, there's lots of security is very important when we talk about the AI, using that, this data, everything, the security things which come in. So I want to go to the data about the question that how you work at the intersection of the national security technology and global development. How do you see the climate change and the green economy becoming the core national security priorities?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here. Sorry, maybe thank you. I was just saying thank you very much for the invitation to be here, and it's great to be on this panel with all these very accomplished people. As to how climate change is showing up in national security and innovation, and how that might be changing, climate change for many years has been seen as part of the national security, particularly, for instance, we're very near to Norfolk, the naval bases in Norfolk, and how sea level rise is impacting readiness, military readiness, that can impact, for instance, the ports, and how the military is postured and ready, and how those ports can be flooded and infiltrated. That obviously has an obvious impact on readiness. So there's that physical level of how do natural disasters and the changes in the environment impact how our national security assets work. But there was also another well understood dynamic, which is how these changes, and we see how natural disasters have increased in intensity, for instance, in the US and also abroad, but how that creates, for instance, displacement and resource scarcity, or disrupts agricultural cycles and other things, and that then can drive instability because it can drive and force migration as well. And so those are national security concerns as well. But since the pandemic, when we've also become acutely aware of the need for what's called supply chain resilience. So the pandemic, I think we all saw that having single dependence on a single craft of supply chain, like with Asia for paper, things like that, created a vulnerability. The same is for things like semiconductors, just extremely complex supply chain, for instance. I believe a semiconductor chip crosses the ocean 70 times before it's been. And then, but that resilience is a concern as well. But as you build more, for instance, let's keep a semiconductor fab or factory that has a strain on the environment. As well, because they use a lot of water, there's a lot of waste, and it has a tremendous impact on the communities. As we're talking today about AI and data centers, we're seeing in real time. One, national security concerns, for instance, I think one of the local congressmen have raised the concern about the concentration of data centers in Loudoun County in Northern Virginia, but at the same time that's adding strain as well to water supplies, utilities, etc. So I think that as we are moving into the AI age, that supply chain conversation is coming into play. But at the same time, there's a competition for AI as well, and that's an economic security concern, which is linked with our national security. And we've heard a lot about those conversations that we want to be competitive with China in particular on AI. But I think where this comes into play is we want to be competitive, but what are the trade-offs? For instance, when we talk about data centers and et cetera, and energy use and its impact on the environment, what are the trade-offs in the short and the medium and the long term for our national security? Because if we do have water scarcity, which we're seeing, for instance, along the Colorado River, then you're going to get the same conflicts that we see elsewhere in the developing world about resource scarcity and create haves and have-nots that then drive not just internal conflict, but other stresses around the globe.
I mean, that's so which is coming to security. I think, with this, it's very important to understand how we are ready for this. We are talking about the AI, we are using AI, we want to do lots of innovation in AI. But as an academic or as a university, what they think that, how it can go. So my next question goes to Dr. Toy, that as an academic leader in information technology and AI, how do you see university shaping practical AI solution for the climate and sustainability challenges? Not just a research, but a real impact. So what do you think that how we are ready for this and how we are making ready to our students?
Thank you, Pia. At the university, normally whenever we talk about AI, it's all about technology. Previously, we used to do all the project research that we try to improve the algorithm, find a new algorithm, optimization, this kind of thing. But times has changed. AI has the applied version, and that applied research directly related to the implementation and solving problem, including the climate. For example, whenever we say data analytics, we are analyzing data. As Lilian gave a very good example, we have lots of data about something. Now, to process the data, our existing system requires years, but now same thing we can do within few hours. So what we are doing in the university, we are updating our curriculum in such a way so that our students can do a real life project, whatever the knowledge, skill, and software required for them to prepare, we are providing them. Not only that, if any students come up with an idea using AI, they can establish a business. We are helping them not only for the design, up to go to the market and make it established business. And for that, we need innovation, the way of business implementation, incubation, everything we are developing. For example, in this program is organized by WISE Accelerator. WISE is greatly working with Washington University of Science and Technology. So nowadays, in many universities, you will see the applied areas of AI. That helps the student to think differently, and they try to do the academic works which is more usable. Instead of writing lots of research papers, citation, we are focusing on the implementation part. Not only in the university, we are doing, for example, I like to share one of our research, which is done in Asia with the collaboration. We have solved a problem of, uh, it's in the agriculture field. The leaf disease can be recognized and solved by AI remotely. So if any insects or a disease comes to the leaves, by analyzing those leaves, it is possible to detect and find the remedy. And that's the direct use of AI, which has the direct impact implemented in the agriculture. So in short, the bottom line is academia also changing, and we need more changes so that we can teach our students, make them ready to apply their knowledge and skill and interest if they want to do business, if they want to solve the problem of this world, so that they can be ready. And we are trying all the way possible. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I agree on this that, how we are trying to build the innovation under the university, but at the same time, we also thinking that what kind of the resources which are available or which we can utilize, and where we can, give the students that kind of the platform where they can work in the climate using the AI or using the technology which they are using. So on the basis, and next question is going directly to you, as you are the one. So, you are the one of the leading organization in the world providing the resources and doing that so much impact towards the community and the development in the water. Definitely, I want to ask you the question, which is you're closely working with the aqueduct. It's like one of the, you can say, the tool. Definitely, I want to know more of that. Everyone want to know. So one of the, it say that it's a water risk mapping tool which used globally. So how you think that data science and the analytical changing, and how we can use that, understand that, and how the people who might be not from that background can also understand that. So can you brief that about that?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, and thank you for the invitation. Yeah, so I'm from the World Resources Institute. We are a global think tank and environmental organization that works at the intersection of climate, nature, and human well-being. So I work on the water team there, and our water team really tries to better understand where water resources are changing and quantify that information for different water users. So what we've seen with new data science methodology, new geospatial techniques, and new Earth observation data is that we can really get more information on water resources today, on how they're changing, on what's causing them to change. And why does this matter, right? Well, water resources are essential for really any industry, for human well-being, for urban growth, for really any kind of economy, really. So what we're when there's water shortages, we have things like energy cutoffs or cutoffs in drinking water, and so many of these data centers that we're hearing about require quite a bit of water resources. So understanding where we have those water resources, where they're threatened, where these users are, the competition and the availability of freshwater resources to provide for ecosystems are really critical going forward. And especially with climate, because there's a quote, and they say that water, climate change is the shark, water is the teeth. Water is the way that we feel the impacts of climate change. So really understanding and monitoring changes in water resources is going to help us better prepare for changing climate.
It's coming interesting that how AI and the climate is coming together. So this, the knowledge which you're working towards the water, the same way he's working towards the technology. You work towards the security and lots of digital data. And academic is supporting to provide the, that information and the support to the young students and leaders. They can be a next climate changer or they can be a innovators. So on this conversation, I want to take the second round of the conversation that there is a lots of I want the first question to you. There is a lots of myth in between this that AI is killing the climate. As many think that AI is the because of the AI, because of the data center, because of the lots of using the you can see the satellites and stuff, we are killing the climate thing. So what do you think about this?
Thank you. And really important topic because indeed this incredible technologies, this incredible platforms which we can use do have this environmental impact, which has been discussed. I want to share with you a story how we start approaching this challenge. When we start using the AI to help us digitize and extract data from long-term chimpanzee research, one data source can be videos. And over the years, we've been collecting thousands and thousands of videos of this chimpanzee behaviors. And now AI is helping us not only use face recognition algorithms to extract individual chimps, we can also now extract automatically chimpanzee behavior and of this individuals. Incredible. And enabling us in seconds, for example, to query and search for unique behaviors, let's say how the chimpanzees are using medicinal plants, which is very rare and very difficult to observe it in the forest. Our developed engineer on this project realized that running some of these videos would have taken days. And a lot of resources, a lot of impact. However, he started experimenting with degrading the videos and realizing that the performance of the algorithms in actually detecting what we care about has not been actually reduced. And by reducing and adding a step in degrading the original high resolution videos into low resolution, he was able to cut the time, the computing time needed from days to almost like a minute. I think this type of approaches where from the beginning you are thinking about using these tools responsibly and truly understanding that there is a footprint of which these technologies have, and trying to match the technology with the right question, which would benefit and convert these incredible opportunities in technology into the positive impact which we want to see, depending on the problem we want to approach. But also from the beginning, build your sustainability thinking into your modeling approach, into your workflow. I think it's really important.
To add on to this, to you only the question is, what are the job opportunities do you think that in this sector is available for the young people and they can think about this area for their future career? So what do you think?
Well, we're all learning, right? We're all learning how this technology is interacting with the work which we do, with our experience at the Jane Goodall Institute with AI is that it's truly helping and enabling our staff to improve their productivity, right? Like examples, what we could not even imagine to go through thousands of videos, now it can be done very quickly. So the productivity, the effectiveness of our colleagues to engage and interact with the data, providing insight, supporting decision making, it has been really providing that helping us to be a more impactful organization and protecting the nature. And at the same time, I also can see that without the human in the loop, this algorithms will not work. You really need to have that oversight. You really need to have that understanding and knowledge of the disciplines. Maybe not everyone needs to understand the technology in the background, but being able to understand the ecology, geography, understanding economics, and being able to be an expert in then making sure that the AI is delivering the right results. It's truly important. So I guess my advice would be, I think as any other technology tools, it's really important for all of us to learn, but it's also really important for us to specialize in our subjects and disciplines in order for us to deploy these tools in effective ways.
So next, I mean, it's a lot of the job opportunities is there. We can see that. But my questions to them, there is lots of innovation people are doing. They work on the research, they work on the pilot, but that pilot project, it's not get converted to the actual innovation and actual running project, or it can be a running business. So would you think that, working, there are lots of funding available to work on the pilot project. So what do you think that, is it good to work on the pilot and might be a failure on that? Or why it's so difficult to convert that in actual project?
Thanks for that question. I think, having worked in the innovation space with U.S. Agency for International Development, first of all, we had this mantra of a good idea can come from anyone at any time, anywhere. So, and I think that's true, and we found that that's true. But again, the challenge is the idea and to figure out how to scale that idea, to test it, get that proof of concept, and then understand how to scale. And one of the things that we're also seeing, for instance, seeing in real time, I have sit on board of something called Public Value Lab, which is basically an organization that grew out of last year's dissolution of USAID and a lot of other federal layoffs to give federal opportunity to take an idea, the right idea that they have, and really do the ideation and really work through that idea and see, is this a viable idea? Is this something that I would have true opportunities to see grow? So I think one is to really take the time with the ideation. A lot of people have an idea to go into a pilot and think, that's great. And I would say with our experience with Phoenix Digital, as we start up and say there's a tremendous need to support organizations and governments on digital transformation, you need to know what your niche is and what your value proposition is. And then you need to be able to prove it. Because funders really want to understand what works, why is it working, and why not. And I think funders, whether they're your government agencies like we were in USAID, which works a lot on de-risking and helping give a leg up to new ideas, or other venture capital or angel investors, as I see through the Station DC tech platform that started last year. They want information, and they want data, and they want proof. And so I think that's one thing that is really critical when you have an idea, is work through it, really build your plan and build your understanding of your value proposition and how you're going to prove that value proposition, that monitoring and evaluation and learning that we always do in USAID, but also being able to pivot and adapt, not be too dogmatic on how you're getting there, but more focused on your outcome. That's the goal you're looking for, is to get to that change. You may have to tweak your theory of change, but you need to be flexible and deal with the reality on the ground. So I think those are important things. And then I think it's also really important to work within a community. And I think that one of the things that we found in USAID, for instance, in one of the innovation opportunities we had with securing water for food, it was called, and it grew and grew, and it was the alumni of the various rounds that started helping the incoming rounds really understand how, like, learning the lessons and helping each other, and that created new opportunities and eased the path. So I think, like, if you're doing innovation, don't be afraid, but be smart about it.
Mm-hmm. So with the innovation experiment and the resources, I think we should come to the institute. And my question is to Dr. Toby that there is lots of, we are working towards the building their skill, also building their portfolio, and also students can have a multi-skilling where they can work on something new, where they can get a good, better job. So what do you think that the gaps right now we are finding towards the government, towards the university, and also the public sector, that there is a gap somewhere. What we are giving them, that kind of opportunity in the market we see is not available. Sometimes it happens. What do you think? What are the gaps?
Thank you. There are lots of gaps because if you think about the technology department in the university and the business department. In the business department, they have lots of ideas of business, but they don't know which technology is most suitable to implement that business. And in the technology department, they know the software, hardware, everything, but they may not have a viable business idea. So first, we need to have the collaboration between different departments. Next, academia and the industry. All over the world, you will find that industry is looking for the right people means skilled and ready for their work. But sometimes universities, even famous universities, are failed to provide that kind of people. So if we can reduce the gap between the academic institution and the real industry, if we can work together, then we can reduce the gap, because industry can identify the real need of the industry, and if we know that, university can prepare their students exactly like that. In fact, at Washington University of Science and Technology, we are focusing on that area. That means we are very much connected with the local industry. As they are saying, that it is very important to collaborate with the local people. In the whoever in the society should have some kind of connection in the academia. If the industry needs, we can understand. Definitely, we can prepare our students for ready to the market.
It's a important discussion. I think the students are also here. They also want to know more about this. So I go to you, please. See, as you said, that it's very important to understand the public sector. You are in the leading organization, which is a non-profit sector. In the non-profit sector, still you need all the skillful stuff, right? But you have, I want to know more that to give an emphasis on how your organization is working towards a climate, whatever, lots of things resources you are providing. So how you hire the people? Like what kind of the skill which you're looking at the hiring side, where the students can apply or the university can give them skills. So I want to from your side.
Yeah, absolutely. So, at the World Resources Institute, we have many different programs from cities, forests, land cover change, water, energy, climate, and then also have, programs in economics, finance. So it really spans, all kinds of different subjects and topics because we're trying to change the systems that are, very kind of in many ways going in the wrong direction in certain ways, that we're not as sustainable as we need to be, that we need to change these systems to incentivize sustainability and conservation, and going away from these activities that we've done for so long in terms of like greenhouse gases that are causing climate change to a new green economy. So all to say, there are so many different skills that are required to solve this climate problem. And really, it depends on what you can put, what you can come and be excited to do every single day. Because every skill is necessary, but what is going to make you come alive, make you excited to do that work? So that's kind of the foundational skills, right? The expertise that I think you bring to an organization. But on top of that, now that we're seeing these rapid changes in technology, the adaptability to learn new skills that are required to solve these biggest challenges. And I think that's such a kind of an awe-inspiring feeling at the end of a degree program. I remember just thinking when I was graduating for my undergrad, okay, great, I have this fancy degree in hand. But I think the feeling I remember the most is just how humbled I was by how much more there was to learn. But I felt that, I had those skills to learn, that I could learn. I could, take on new skills, take on new challenges. And I think that's going to be the workforce in the future with how fast everything's moving.
So I want the question on this. So what you study, the work that you are doing right now, the career which you have right now, is that you study in your graduation, the same thing you are doing right now, or you changed the path of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, frankly, I never imagined that it would be as good as it is. So I studied hydrology and environmental science in undergrad, and went to Peace Corps to learn more about environmental action in different places around the world. And then had my internship at the World Resources Institute about 10 years ago. And when I was there, I was hired originally in part for some technical skills in GIS and geospatial analysis. But what I learned is that there's so many more skills that my program needed in terms of data science and analytics. So I did my master's degree in that to better analyze data faster, to solve these environmental problems faster. So that was, in the evening, but now that that's done, the learning is not. There's still so much to stay up to date on in terms of now this new kind of AI frontier.
So question go to the same continuing this, like as she said that there's lots of skill which is you have to learn day by day. Now, if someone want to start a career in the climate with the AI, so what do you think that what kind of career path that person should take?
Indeed, it's fascinating to be a student now, because on one hand, you have access to this incredible tool to integrate knowledge across so many different disciplines. I remember I went to school first as a general ecologist, vertebrate zoologist, then did remote sensing, then then get my conservation biology degree. And I remember that at the time it was the message was, well, do your academic discipline and science first and conservation later, because if you start thinking about problem solving and conservation, you will dilute your academic credentials. By the time I got to my PhD, that changed. Actually, I benefited from a MacArthur program at the University of Minnesota, which specifically focused on real-world problem-solving opportunities, and encouraged us to think interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. Still, very challenging to be a social scientist, geographer, remote sensing specialist, biologist. Now as AI, you have this incredible opportunity to remove the silos between all these disciplines and publications and start connecting this knowledge. What is really important is that you listen to the communities, to the people, to truly define the question, to truly define the problem, to truly understand how we actually make decisions around this problem, so then you understand how your impacting tool or new knowledge is actually addressing the real problem. Often in academia, I remember thinking, who are those decision makers? You know, you learn about all these decision makers, who are they? It was really important as a student to be part of the community efforts of the Jane Goodall Institute back in 2000, and truly listen and understand how the local communities make decisions, how they use the information about forest or water, and you'll find out that of course that is very specific to different countries, different communities, different policy processes. But at the end of the day, human and not rational decision makers. And being able to bridge this incredible technology and data and insights and knowledge to truly change human behavior requires you to listen and actively engage and be part of this community of practice. That would be my advice.
But just a question for you that how much money you invest on the AI, like your organization?
Excuse me?
How much money you're investing on the AI? Just like amount, like how much money in your, the projects or program overall in your company and organization you're investing right now on the AI?
It's a great question because as a conservation engineer, we often operate on projects. So we have certain projects and programs, and I can tell you that our investment in digitizing and organizing our Gombe long-term research data in Gombe National Park in Tanzania, it's equal to the annual budget of collecting data at National Park. It's not the entire budget of the organization, because we work in multiple countries, but it's significant. And I think this is significant because we all, including donors, including government officials, realize the true opportunity here to invest in organizing our data.
Yeah.
Because without that investment, I might not provide you the data as useful, maybe as you think.
It's a quite good investment. I think lots of opportunity for people to have career in this sector. So my question is goes next to him. As a you are having lots of experience with the research. So please suggest that we need lots of money towards the research. Do we have enough money right now? People are investing on the research, or there's right now change to the AI. So do you think that on the research we are gaps to get the kind of resources and the money? Do you think that?
Actually, whenever we say AI, we focus on the technology only. But in AI, we have other parts for ethical consideration, for new laws, and mindset. So there are many issues. So if we think about research in AI, there is no problem for the money, because for AI tool developing, purchasing, there are lots of budgets. But when you see the applications, that means data analysis. Collecting data is an expensive process, And if you want to use AI for small projects, there are some issues are living. But if you can justify or if you can collaborate with the government or with the donor agency and your research is aligned with the policy of the country or policy of the organization, then you can have grants and everything. So main challenge is not the money, main challenge is what problem we're solving. If we can do some research which is aligned with solving a problem, which is also the objective of government or any other organization. For example, if you solve the problem of agriculture field, the government is there. So in short, for research, your willingness and the way you are planning your research work is more important. And if it is aligned with the objective of the government and other organization, you can have the money.
So now, the question will be to you. As she worked with the government, you have worked with the USAID. Lots of fun. USAID was supporting so many different non-profits, the projects, and immediately it stopped. So what you want to say about that? That money and the stopping this money, it's impacting a lots of people. The lots of people are working. Lots of people having different money on that, and it is impacted. So what do you think that still the people find the alternatives of that, or still this was the biggest thing which happened? Do you think with the loss?
That's a challenge. I think we're still figuring out what the impacts of the dismantling or realignment of USAID and the knock-on effects with other governments and how the U.S. pulled development assistance out, but then other development actors also reduced their support as well. So I think we don't fully understand the impact, but for instance, just on this panel, we had a conversation right before, and I know it's impacted in different ways. Both the Jane Goodall Institute and World Resources Institute. So it's had a very broad impact, and it's forcing a lot of adjustments. And some are overdue, and some are probably not as helpful as they could be. But going back to Lydia's conversation about working with local actors, I think one thing it's done is really, I've been saying the rhetoric is being lived, where we always were focusing on pushing assistance and design and decision making to local partners, and that is happening because you have a smaller funding envelope, and so that is occurring, and that there's more deference to local actors and funding of local actors rather than pass-throughs, because your money goes further, so you're able to reach your outcomes. It's not totally true across the board, but that's happening. But the other thing I will say is that, as I was saying to Liz before, I think that a lot of the development assistance was moving towards a model of public-private partnerships. 50 years ago, development assistance, bilateral, multilateral, so from governments or from multilateral agencies, was the game. And now, it had been increasingly becoming catalytic funding or funding that de-risk rather than the vast majority of funding. And so that's where a lot of it was pushing. Now the challenge is the organization, the agency is gone, the need is not. And so how to address that need and the mother of invention is necessity. And so we're seeing new ways of approaching this. But I do think, some of the conversation, for instance, on climate, AI, how will AI bring efficiencies? For instance, at the World Bank meeting last week, is it going to activate divisions that AI has and have not? Or can this be an opportunity for some developing countries to leapfrog if it's used and directed in an intentional way? And we're seeing a lot of innovations in more resource scarce, whether that is, and I mean like compute and electricity and connectivity environments, to leverage AI. Like for instance, in Kenya, there are pilots, go back to piloting, using AI to help deliver medical care in under resourced areas. And so we're using the language and training AI to understand the local languages. So I think there's a lot of opportunity. But I would say people who, I would say USA was an important player. It is, I don't think will be coming back in its form for a variety of reasons. But I think there's so much opportunity and potential in what's called the Global South that for innovation, for technology use, for climate innovation as well, that people should not just throw up their hands because there's not an easy source to find money. There are plenty of sources to find money and creative financing mechanisms to do it.
Interesting. So let's have a question to you. The question is that as you know, we're talking about the gaps. As you what your organization, do you think that you're investing on the right information, on right skills, and the right people, and with this, it's like there's chances for the more people to come and join you. It's like what are the opportunities to have for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of investing on kind of the right topics, I'll take that one first. And I think, my fellow panelists mentioned that, what we're trying to do is create tools for users to make actionable change towards our goals, towards development goals, towards sustainability, towards protecting the climate, protecting the planet. So what we try to do is really understand who can be using our tools and making sure that whatever technology that we're investing in is very useful for them. So one example, we released a tool called Global Nature Watch last year, and with some Data Institute co-launching with us. And basically what that tool did was take a former data set that we had on deforestation loss, but also on land cover change. And instead of needing to do certain geospatial analysis on your own, what we could do with that tool now is just have anybody with any kind of technical skills to type into a chat, like how has deforestation increased or decreased in this state anywhere, in the world or in this district. So basically taking something that you needed a very technical background to be able to download the data and do some analysis with, you can just ask it a question and it will respond. And what we hope that will be used by government officials or others to better track environmental change in their areas. So that's really how we did that. We've been working with users for almost over a decade now, and understanding how they actually can use the data and what the barriers are. And that geospatial analysis was a barrier, so we tried to break down that barrier. So in terms of what opportunities and what skills that as you said, the listening, understanding the stakeholders, understanding what the barriers are to positive change is such an important step to have too.
Interesting. I think we need to ask the questions from the audience. Let's see what they have. Who have an interest, I think they're still here and they're listening to the very nice topic. So I really want from anyone from your side, if you have any questions, please, it's open forum. You can ask the question. Yes, anyone? Yeah. Mike?
So as we begin to install and electricity within the government and our state, local, and federal within our AI system, and new requirements are becoming developing, what considerations are you guys having with your teams for the products that you're developing? Your consideration. What is that?
Yeah, I could take a stab just by answering some. So we created a guideline to responsible use of AI, and there's a few guidelines on there in terms of, I think as you said earlier, always having a human in the loop, right? So not just making sure that it's accurate, and making sure that we're the ones making those decisions. In addition, some of our tools are also showing how this environmental impact, the energy costs, water costs. We're trying to show that if this query actually costs this much energy, this much water, and passing that on to the users so they understand. In addition, we're trying to share any of the information that we learn with using AI so that it's benefiting the sector as well, and that we can kind of all accomplish our objectives stronger together.
Yeah, I just want to say that for us, we have 25 years of experience in bringing different innovative technologies to local communities in places like Tanzania, the Republic of Congo. And during this time, we developed this understanding what would be a proper way to integrate this technology in local decision making. So with AI, we don't see a huge difference. It's still about listening and understanding the problem. It's still about developing trust. It's about making sure that you respect local knowledge and local values and ways how people are interacting with this technologies and data. It's about making sure that if we often in a position to facilitate the use of technologies, which means that local communities will trust with us their local knowledge, and we host this maybe in different technology environments in collaboration, of course, with local governments, playing that role as an NGO between government policies and mandates and the community's needs. So with AI, it doesn't change. Nothing changes. You still have to be able to provide that level of data management and trust. That's why our work with AWS is so fascinating, because it's enabled us to have to deploy this and take advantage of this language model, which are then deployed at all different scales. But we could hyper-localize that community data and manage it in our account in a way that it just continues that to use. So this is, I think it's important.
So you mentioned government bringing on this technology, and I wanted to say a couple things from what we have seen and learned. First of all, I think one of the components that often gets forgotten from an organizational perspective is it's an organizational change challenge. It's a cultural challenge as much as it is a technology challenge. And then often the problem, like right now, everybody, particularly for AI, is like, oh, it's going to solve all our problems. But you really need to figure out what the problem is and what are the right tools to solve it. AI is probably going to solve only part of the problem, along with human, and you could actually make the matter worse if you haven't worked out the contours of the problem and then really intentionally build the ledgers, the models, the data that you need to actually move that forward. But if you're a government also using this, there's a lot of there's responsible AI, but there's data governance concerns, accounting and data quality concerns. But it's also, if you are expecting, and we saw some of this, and my colleagues in the audience work a lot on digital government, but if you are introducing this technology, you have to make sure not just that your government can use it, but that your constituents understand what it is, able to access it. Do you have connectivity? Do you have digital literacy? Do you have oversight and reliability and accountability for the data, for the connectivity? Have you been inclusive? Have you brought the community in to understand how they want to interact with that technology and how they will understand the technology? This is not an AI example, but when I worked in Afghanistan, into this technology, and an example, we Westerners wanted to drop in lots of computer programs for instance, the judiciary, computerized court and case file system. But the problem was, for instance, in one of the provinces I worked in, part of it only accessible by the way they had the court files was they put them on a donkey. They crossed an international border and it took 7 days each way, and there was no electricity on either end except by generator, which might have been used for 2 hours a week, because that was the fuel resources they had. So you really need to understand what is the context you're working in. You have to understand what is the technology stack that you have available and you need, and what is the overall ecosystem, and is that the right solution for the problem? We as Western government install all these computer systems in the judicial system in Afghanistan. Most of them sat there because nobody knew how to use them. And if they did, it became them. And it just wasn't what they needed. They needed help understanding how to build more of the conceptual underpinnings of the system and how to get it to work in the context that they were in, rather than what we thought they would do. And so I think that's an object lesson for AI. And then we have to be careful and work through both on the government side, are we thinking this through, but also are we understanding what the problem is and what the context is for the solution to the problem.
Thank you. Any other? Anyone else? Oh, you have a question? Okay, please. Yeah, we have arguments.
Okay. So AI brings opportunity, but also a risk, right? So what are the risks of relying on AI for climate solutions and how we can manage?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think some of those questions goes back into the responsible AI and the way that, well, I mean, some of the risks, right, frankly, are, and there's quite a few because it's such a new technology and we're still working on improving it. So for one, AI can do something that is called hallucinating, but it's really just kind of providing wrong information. So how do we make sure that, we're validating the model that we're showing, that we're sure that what it's coming out with is accurate, especially when we're developing. So, we've had things like closed beta versions where it's like, all right, we're training this. Sometimes it's going to be wrong still, but making sure that we're very, very clear in what stage of development we're in, because we're all, all approaching this, all learning together. Another really big challenge, I think, especially in the space that we're in, is that there are always going to be, well, there aren't always going to be, but there can be biases with AI. So, for example, if you train a model on a certain area, so talking about different basins, for example, if we only train data on basins in the mountains, it's not going to be able to predict basins in plains or in flatter areas. So, and that's also kind of what we see with if the people that are feeding the information come from more of the global north, there's not going to be as much information in the global south, and it's not going to understand those situations either. So there are these biases with where the data comes from, how well it's trained, that we also have to understand. And there is this great opportunity for AI to crowdsource more information, to be more inclusive around the world. but only if the option is given, only if that's enabled. So we have to make sure that that is, very, very much something that we're working towards too.
Just a simple story. It's about using some data or a sensor where you can put your hand and it will dispense some soap or something, liquid soap. Something. So the data they used all are white people's hand. But when they tried in real life, there was African black hand. It cannot recognize it's a hand. So it's not the problem of the system, it's the problem about the data. So data bias is very important, and that's why never allow AI to take the decision. Allow AI to summarize, analyze, and put it to a human to take the final decision. So if we can always tap AI and human together, we can reduce the problem or solve the problem. We cannot blindly depend. Even ChatGPT, very confidently, they can give wrong information. If you ask to write a research paper, it will write a research paper within a second with 20 plus references, all are fake. But it looks like no, I mean, it's correct. So don't trust blindly. That's it.
Yes, I think with this note, okay, one question. Okay, let give a chance. There's one question last, and then yeah.
Thank you so much, all of moderator, for giving this information here. And so I have a quick question. What kind of role should educational or research institution they can play in helping organizations like government, non-profit, or any other organization like this line of AI or this sustainable green?
Okay, understand the question?
Just what kind of role actually for making it being an institution and organization. So what kind of role students can take for helping the different organizations for helping the AI jobs?
Sorry, just go back. So how can what organizations help?
No, I'm saying that if any organization,
Any organization, what kind of the role they can play, and they can to make the better AI tools, and what kind of resources they can put.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think at WRI we work with a lot of partners across different NGOs, across the private sector, and other organizations. So trying to leverage the best of what Google or Amazon or Microsoft have developed to solve these environmental problems, and often partner with them or cloud computing or things of that sort to make it actually feasible to do what we want to do. And those aren't always sometimes that's actually create a significant resource in terms of catching global data. So that's one. There's also working with other organizations like, for example, other environmental organizations like WWF. How can we work together to create the best hydrological models, right? And to make sure that we're sharing those learnings, those pieces of information, and learning from each other, because we have a common goal. So let's make sure that we're economizing our resources. On the government side, around doing it.
So what can organizations do to help
I think it's important to also share standards and lessons learned. So we are part of community of practice and sharing kind of our insights and experiences. It's really important to try to avoid duplication. Again, the similar approaches as we did, and it doesn't matter maybe technology, as long as we agree on data standards, as long as we agree what makes data actionable to solve real problems. I think it's important to have discussion as well.
I would just add the three both, I think one of the things that we often miss is getting cross-sector conversations going on. I think it's very easy for the environmental groups or the humanitarian groups, peace building groups to talk to each other, for instance, or economic development offices in each state, but to actually share across different use cases in different sectors can actually uncover new opportunities, not just to collaborate, but new ways to use these models. So I think to not be shy, I've spent my career at the intersection of sectors, and I think it's one of the most fascinating opportunities, but people often are scared to go and reach across, or just don't want to because they're heads down and busy. But I think we can open up a lot of opportunities to do that. The other thing I do, partly agree with the standards, I think it's really important as this is a fast-moving, not just conversation, but technology that is having incredible impact across socioeconomic sectors, to make sure that people create the space to have conversations about what is acceptable and what is not, and not just once, but continually. Because as the technology matures, we can understand how to manage it, but also what are the opportunities and uses. We still figure out uses for drugs that were developed 50 years ago. So we just need to create a forum and a platform for those conversations. And it doesn't have to be at a global level. It can be at a community level, a state level, a regional level. But having that space, I think, is really important. Sharing, listening, and being willing to have a conversation.
Want to add something on this? Okay. So I think with this note, today's panel discussion is we wanted to, with different ideas which are coming in towards the climate. Sometimes, you see there are so many people were here. Then after that debate, same way, many people coming to, work towards the innovation. Initially shown the interest, but at the end of the process, they feel that there is no money, might be they will not get a job, maybe they will not get the right, kind of the platform, and then they drop out from that area. So I think it's very important to have this kind of communication that, I'm very happy with this panel discussion that, it's shown the lots of open doors for the students and also for the people who are thinking to work towards this area, because this area is, I think it's a big area to work on, and many people and many students don't know about this. And I really hope that with this message, like online, so many people are listening to us, and I hope they find the message that something in AI with the innovation, they can do something in this area. So thank you so much for joining us here, and let's do something. Lots of things I feel with this panel, lots of collaboration opportunity which we can do together to reach out the community, and also giving the AI space where everyone can utilize that. So I think we will be very happy and glad that you all will be part of this panel discussion. Without holding time, I wanted to invite Dr. Mark Robinson for the closing remark, and he will blitz to Mark Robinson with lots of experience. And he's also one of the mentor and advisor for the Vice Dean of the MBA Management and MBA department. And his experience, I feel like one of the mentors for me. Lots of the anything he always say that we should do that. And that's why I feel that I'm very happy that he's here. Please, I want you to give us the close remarks.
Thank you very much. I feel with the closing remarks, I'm kind of preaching to the choir. Everybody up here seems to have a lot of great experience in energy, but my initial passion is not working.
Speak
All right, maybe I'll just talk louder. But anyway, Dr. Mark Robinson, happy to be with you here as we close the session. It's often said when you start to learn about public speaking, there's two very desirable places to speak, either before lunch or before you leave. So I find myself in sort of an appreciated issue where to speak. But again, I'm going to share my remarks first as a father who has helped raise two adult men with families, human being, and then as a former energy consultant with both ExxonMobil and Deloitte. But as we come to the close of this event, I just wanted to take a moment to reflect on what I've heard today, what everyone has been discussing together, and more importantly, what lies ahead. But over the past sessions, we have examined not just the intersection of artificial intelligence and the green economy, but the powerful convergence of two defining forces of our time: technological acceleration and environmental urgency. And before we close out, I just wanted to share with you just a couple of very brief ideas and commitments as you go forward today. First, we need to commit to action, right? Take what you've learned today, what you discuss, and apply it in your own life, right? Identify one area where AI can enhance sustainability in your work and begin there. Progress does not require perfection. It requires getting started and gaining some momentum. Second, we want to commit to collaboration, right? The challenges of the green economy are too complex to solve in isolation. Seek out partnerships, as we're doing today. Share responsibility. As we harness the power of AI, let us do with intention. Let us ensure that the systems we build reflect not only what is possible, but what is right. And thirdly, commit to collaboration, right? These are things that we cannot solve by ourselves, and so partnerships are the key. I want to thank to our panel, Priya, Jose, and the panel today for your engagement, your participation, insights, and commitment. The intersection of AI and the green economy is not just a topic of discussion, it's a pathway forward. It is an opportunity to redefine and how we create value, how we measure success, and how we sustain our world. And so what I like to tell my MBA students is AI is likely going to transform, it is transforming jobs and organizations. However, probably AI will not take your job, although we've seen signs of that, but someone who's AI literate is going to take your job. So I firmly believe in building AI literacy at the school. And as we like to say, our triple mission here is degree, job skill, and job placement. Thank you. I look forward to seeing the impact you all create. Thank you again.
And say, I would like to invite Jody to give the thank you to our panel. Jose, I would love to have you here.
Yeah, so I don't actually need a mic. I think I'm loud enough. But we do want to thank everybody for coming to today's event. A little token of appreciation for today's event and for all our panelists being here. These plants are actually a gift for you to take home. So it's, this meets the kind of the purpose of today's event. And for students, faculty, and staff, don't be shy. Make sure you come up and you pick their brain. They have a lot of good connections and take some advice. And we have some student volunteers and ambassadors who are getting ready to interview you. So as soon as you step off of this, they're going to ask you a couple of questions. But we're super thankful to have you here today. You did an amazing job. And again, for students, make sure that you do connect with our speakers today. A lot of the times they can serve for you as a mentor. They have a lot of the same navigation and questions you did when they were students. So no question is a bad question. Make sure you come on up. Talk to them, specifically your instructor here, who has a lot of guidance for you. And again, thank you for everybody for coming. Thank you to Priya. Thank you to Dr. Robinson. Thank you to all the WUST ambassadors, the team who are here serving today. And we can't wait to have you at our next event. Okay, so give them a round of applause for being here today. And again, we look forward to many more events. And follow us on social media to learn all about our events. This is streamed on our Facebook and Instagram. Facebook has maybe about 400,000 followers. It's all our community. So this will be downloadable and it will be on YouTube as well for you to share with your family and friends. So again, thank you guys for coming. You don't have to leave, but make sure you come on, you take some pictures, and you take some questions from the panelists, okay?
Julie, can we have one group picture of the panel?
Yes, now we can have everybody come to the front for a group picture. Join it. You guys stand up, yes. Everybody come on in, we'll take a group picture.